Hey, what's going on? How y'all doing? Welcome to my channel, My Life as a Motherless Son. It's always a challenge, to be a motherless son. It's always a challenge to be uh, a motherless child, even to be a fatherless child. Fatherless son, fatherless daughter, motherless son, motherless daughter is always a challenge. But something I want to talk about is the fact that I saw this report. I'm not gonna call names, or I'm not gonna even say where are they from, but I'm gonna say this: bullying, is obviously a real thing, and the way the school system is today is very different than when I was in school. And I'm pretty sure it's different when you was in school. But if you look at it, school is set up very different. At least where I'm from, and maybe it's the same where you're from. If you go to public schools, they have it where you can't just go into schools. You can't just walk up to the schools anymore. I know when I was a kid, my parents could come up to the school. They could even come to my classroom and see what I was doing without me knowing they was there. Um, it was very different. Nowadays, you have to. I know it's very different. You go to the school now, you got to push a button, tell the people why you're there, all this, and that, and third. I mean, some of it is for safety reasons, but come on, man, it's really I don't really understand it, right? But I'm gonna say this: this particular thing that I want to talk about is about a 10-year-old kid. This 10-year-old kid was supposedly getting bullied at school. They was getting bullied at school. Now I don't know how long it was happening, but they was getting bullied. And the 10-year-old kid came home one day. The mother went to the grocery store to get grocery, come home only to find her son. I believe it was her son. If you find this article and you found out I was wrong, please comment below with whether or not it was a son or a daughter. But I believe it was a son. And come home and she found her son hanging. The son hung himself because of bullying. At least that's what they say. Listen, if this is true, as a parent, you have to take some small bit of uh, accountability in this. Listen, I'm telling y'all, do not allow your kids to just go on day to day and you not interacting with them. Show your kids love. Show your kids love. I was a kid who grew up in a foster parent situation, and I did not feel like they cared about me. I just didn't feel like they cared about me, man. Now, I wasn't the one who wanted to not live, because I would run away. I would try to run away first. But a lot of these kids today, because we live in a society today that everything is a little bit easier and a little bit more comforting than it was. If you're over 40, then you know what I'm talking about. It was different back then. You know what I'm saying? We did a lot of things more differently. We wasn't taught to have fear. We was taught to go out and conquer and do things. We wasn't well, at least the majority of us wasn't taught to have fear. Today these kids are taught to be fearful. It's fears everywhere. They see fear all the time. They see reasons why they should be fearful. We didn't have no fear. Our parents didn't show us fear. We didn't have cell phones. We didn't say contact me when you gone. We didn't do none of that. We was gone all day long and nobody knew where we was other than what we told our parents we were gonna be at. Even though we didn't stay there, we went other places. And we rode seatbelts wasn't even a thing back then. We didn't have to have a seatbelt on. Life was just different. But today is not the same. So I'm saying as a parent, be involved in your child's life. Know your children through and through. Understand what they're going through. Know when you see a sign of them being different. Ask questions. And when they tell you something, don't disregard it. Believe it until otherwise proven not true. I know we always talk, don't go with that, don't believe that until you can prove it. But when it comes to your children, believe it first, prove it to be false later. Only with your children. Because children tend to be different. And they will tell you things that you don't think is possible. But they're not telling you for no reason at all. They're telling you for a reason. And it's up to you to trust and believe. Because if you don't trust and believe them, they will never tell you nothing else ever again, no matter how bad it gets. They'll just feel like they're being bullied and they'll just hang themselves or they'll take themselves out. What reason do a 10-year-old have to take themselves out? No reason other than no one's listening. Now, I know the mother going to have to go through something behind this. She's going to forever remember her son hanging. But we all have a responsibility. We all play a part. If you're a parent, something going on with your child, make sure you be at the school and contacting the teacher and talking about this, working through this, finding a way to resolve it. There's no reason for a 10-year-old to be hanging themselves. Just no reason. So I hope that you can get better and figure out a way to overcome whatever you have to be dealing with. Find a way to get more interacting or more close to your child, and understand that your child may be going through something and helping your child get through it, teaching them conflict resolution, and helping them understand what they're facing when they're being bullied and how to deal with bullies. But that's all I want to say. It's a sad situation. It's a sad situation. But it can be resolved. And change can happen in the future. Take care.